Hello, I'm Gary Lyon and welcome to Access All Areas. The lineup of matches heading into the weekend didn't look flash, but we had some amazing results. Some close shaves for a few of the top 8 teams and some great footy played. Bit of a surprise, Damien Barrett.
It was. Like you, I went into the weekend really flat about the matches on offer, but have come in today with a real spring in the step. And love that Bulldogs Essendon game yesterday, guys. Yeah. Particularly love the performance of Jake Carlisle up forward. He's come of age in the past fortnight as a forward.
Wound the clock back beautifully for the big forwards. 8 goals, 12 marks, 5 contested. They had no answer for the big fella. And look at this. The one consistent Damo, he's marking these footies inside 50, close to goal, more often than not one-on-one. And that is a joy to watch for an old forward that is just getting frustrated at seeing these big forwards having to work up the ground, contest at the wing, all that sort of nonsense. Leave them inside 50, give them the opportunity to do exactly that.
2 issues I want to delve into here with Carlisle. How's he turned it around so quickly? And just give us the one thing, as a great centre forward, give us the one thing he's done in the past fortnight that he wasn't doing.
I think he's learnt to play as a forward. I mean, he spent his whole developing years as a defender. I think he's invested some time. We've spoken about Wayne Carey's.
But when you say learnt to play as a forward, what has he done?
His work rate's improved. He's getting to more contests. He's turning his defender around more often so that he's harder to defend as a forward. And his hands are beautiful. He's got the confidence up, and it's a joy to watch, Damien. It is a joy to watch. He's staying close to goal.
Well, you made the point there. He stayed close to goal. That's obviously under instruction from his coach.
Oh, I'd hope so, and I think we'll talk about other forwards on the weekend. It would appear that maybe the penny's dropping for some of the coaches in the competition. We want to kick winning scores, leave our big men capable of kicking it close to the big 2 sticks.
That was a good for Essendon yesterday, amongst quite a fair bit of good. But Dustin Fletcher, Gaz, he's done.
Well, let's have a look at this. You're calling it.
He cannot play in 2015.
He trails in Jake Stringer, a young man that's on the charge here. Now, that is going to be embarrassing for Dustin to see that. Stringer got a hold of him, so they moved him forward. He couldn't have an impact there. Not so critical of this because
that
happens for defenders. But in the dying moments, I mean, Dustin Fletcher's ability to get a fist in has been his strong suit, and Bontempelli, the class act, mind you, there's 40 years difference between the two of them. But you're saying he's gone?
Well, he's playing for the 400 figure, Gaz. And look, the club needs to clear this up. There's a suggestion that that's the way he's playing to me.
You think he's just playing because he wants 400 games?
I'm also thinking he's playing, and the club needs to clear this up, that under James Hird, if he does return, that he will be on the list next year. And under another scenario, there's no guarantees on the list. And the club needs to clear this up now.
Hard for James to make that assessment over in France, given the form of Dustin Fletcher over the past month or so. So it'll be an interesting watch this space. I sat down to watch Melbourne play Port Adelaide with a deal of trepidation, as you do, but I thought, no, let's get away to a flyer early.
Yep.
Bang, hit the post from 20 metres out. Can't kick goals, Melbourne. Had 2 gilt-edged opportunities, and from that point on it was going to be a challenge. James Frawley running into an open goal. You got a Melbourne man there. I think it was Dean Kent. Couldn't get it in the end opportunity.
Is your man Frawley?
Well, he wasn't too bad. He marked the footy, but again, with ball in hand, he's away. This was the pivotal one. This had to go down the line. They got 3 points in front. It went into the middle corridor. The mark was taken. That ball rebounded down, and they kicked the winning goal, Jay Schultz. And this was the last roll of the dice.
There's a little chance here.
This is your captain. You know, that's look at the minute 20 on the clock. They're 3 points behind. It was a frustrating day. I reckon they should. Well, I'm certain they should have won that game.
I think Port Adelaide knows that too. Guys, look, they've dropped off in the past few weeks. Port, they got back on the winners list yesterday, but they're not a top 4 team.
They're not playing like that at the moment. They certainly miss their 2 defenders, Trengove and Carlisle, no question about that. They love to get one back behind the footy and have this run and rebound, which opposition sides have worked on.
Yeah.
And in particular...
Was it Richmond who identified that before anyone else last week with Troy Chaplin?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think clubs have known it, but then being able to do something about it is another thing. They've got 2 guys that rebound off half-back, O'Shea and Pittard, who are really important, but you've got to get pressure on them because I think they're vulnerable and susceptible. They turned the footy over yesterday. They love having the spare. They love to get it in Pittard's hands. But I just the last month or so, I've watched these 2 guys go about it. I mean, that's always funny and self-fulfilling. But I think there's some vulnerability in their back half if you can get some genuine heat on them. And don't let them have the spare, Damo, because it gives them the cop-out.
Well, if the secret to what they were doing in the early part of the season is now out, they're in trouble, guys.
Well, I think they've got some work to do. I mean, I've got great faith in their ability to get their game back up and going. But look, when you take your 2 pillars out of your defensive half, it always compromises you to a degree. But big job ahead for Kenny Hinkley. They got out of jail yesterday. It would have been their 4th loss in a row.
One guy who hasn't deviated too much from his form and certainly his endeavour, Robbie Gray, goes had a clash yesterday with Jack Watts. Now, it's rather innocuous in the context of a game of footy, but yet again, it just highlights Jack Watts'
Look,
not being prepared to go hard on every occasion.
Lower and harder. That's what you say, Damo. We'll have another look at this. Lower and harder, and you had to halve that contest, Jack.
Yep.
And Jack in the third quarter turned the fortunes of this game with ball in hand by going behind the footy and making some really great decisions. But there's a very simple message for Jack there, lower and harder, and I reckon that will be spelled out to him. So that's Melbourne and the Port Adelaide out of the road. Your side, the Kangaroos. You're pulling what little hair you've got left.
It is going. Hey, they don't have the luxury to be complacent. And I say that because they are regularly complacent against teams that they're meant to be. Brisbane Lions 3 weeks ago, Carlton on Friday night. They play footy, Gaz, like I think good teams do when they're having an off night. They don't have that luxury.
Well, have a look at these examples we're showing you, is just how off they were on the Friday night stage when there was a sniff of a top 4 chance still around. How does Bastanak let that footy get over the back? That results in a goal to Carlton. I mean, this decision-making of Jack Zeeble here, I know he's missed a lot of footy, but that's just a panic kick when the margin's 3 points and you're in the game. How do you do that?
I don't get that.
That's not the footy ability or decision-making ability of a top 4 side. So that's the tangible things that you can see. Right? They're the tangible results of poor decision-making, poor skill areas. The intangible is attitude, mindset, intensity. Interesting work rate. And I mean, have a look at this. These are what I've got in early this morning. Had a look at this.
Yep.
This is early in the game. You've got players behind the footy. You've got coverage behind the footy. We're going to count them. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got to work across the ground. One of those, or two of those North Melbourne defenders have got to look at coverage across the ground.
So why are they all being sucked in that spot?
Well, it's laziness and it's just not switched on. I mean, two of those North players had to say, there is the dangerous Carlton players on the other side. So that's a lack of communication amongst yourself. And this is late in the game. Ben Cunnington, tough because he has a go. This is Chris Judd, but this is work rate as well. You know, you've got to...
So what are you about to say here? He doesn't go with Judd.
No, that's all right, because you've got the footy. You want to go... Now, you've got to bust your backside, Damo. You've got to
But does he think Jacobs is doing his job?
Yeah, well, look at the other Carlton player to the right-hand side, Damo. It's a 2-on-1. You can't just cruise to the middle of the ground, cruise and say, I'll cover the centre corridor. You've got to put your head down, you've got to work over, you've got to square the number up. And this is, I think, Sam Wright. We can't quite see. This is Jared Wade, who had just taken him out. Turn your head there. Turn your head. He obviously hasn't turned his head to see that Jared Waite's in the middle of the ground, Damo. And from here, then it's too late. You're not going to make that ground up. You've got to turn your head, identify the dangerous Carlton player, get goal side of him. Too late now.
But is he trying to fill the hole on the forward play, I guess?
When the ball's coming down in that manner and you haven't got possession, that's when you start to go, righto, where is the most dangerous opposition player? Oh, there's one 15 metres in the corridor. I've got to get to him. And in the end, it was a slow reaction.
I like it when you get in early and do that.
Yeah, well,
that was
why
really,
don't you get in
really good.
early?
Well, I've got Brent Harvey on SEN on the weekend, querying Brad Scott's toughness on his players.
To tell you the truth, if I had one knock on Brad Scott, and whether this is a knock or not, I'm not too sure, but I would have said I would like him to be harder on our group a little bit earlier. And I know coming in as a younger coach, he probably needs to nurture the boys a little bit, especially being such a young group. But now he's found his feet. I think he realises what we can do, and he's seen our very, very good now, and he doesn't want that to drop below par.
That's strong stuff from a former captain and a guy who's still playing very, very good footy, guys. Are they too nice as a club?
Well, how can you be? 3 weeks ago they beat Hawthorn. The noise coming out of that was we'd made a statement, we reviewed hard through the week, we looked ourselves in the eye, we knew we had to come back. Boys, don't go looking for the coach, look within. Look within yourselves. Maybe it's time you got harder on yourselves as a group. So, disappointing. Fremantle, this is a side who are hard on themselves because Ross Lyon gives them no option to otherwise. I don't know what to make of this. Is this the flaw? Is this the genius of Ross Lyon at work here?
What, talking to his players at quarter time?
Yeah, well, you know, they've got the so-called easiest run home. Everyone had him as a lock for the top 2. Maybe now he's got the ammunition to throw back in the face of this group and say, righto, you blokes. This could be the making of Fremantle.
What, losing to St Kilda the way they did?
Yep, this could be the absolute making of them. This might be the...
You're being facetious here in suggesting that they might have planned this?
No, not planned it. But I'm saying that is a cachet of ammunition that Ross Lyon now will use to this group for the next 6 weeks and throw it in their face in the most aggressive style, and it could very well be the making of them, if it's not a mortal wound.
Well, they managed to even let Reece Stanley play a blinding game of footy.
That's facetious.
Well, it's not. His body of work would suggest he wasn't capable of doing this, and you know that, and you've been one of his greatest critics.
I have been.
And his teammates question his workload, Gaz, and they're not going to go on record and say that, but they do. But there's nothing to question about his game on this weekend.
Well, and credit to Alan Richardson, who Matthew Lloyd about 3 weeks ago said Nick Riewoldt has to move from being the key target in the forward 50 so that other players can flourish. And that's what's happened. Nick's gone up the ground and become the third floating forward, and this bloke now has said, righto, it's up to me. Let's not get carried away, though. Let's not get carried away on Reece Stanley.
I want to get carried away. He's got that ability. I want him to do it every week.
Right, good. You get carried away, I'll hold my fire, because when Nick Nat knew he played a great game, everyone said, see. We haven't. It's about the body of work. I keep saying it, a body of work. Do it again for the next 3 weeks, Reece, and then I'll get carried away. Not that you care what I think. But
here's another contrast to look at. The coaches in the GWS Geelong game when Jeremy Cameron took a nice mark late in the game.
Yep. Well, was it a mark, was it not?
Yeah, you pay it. You've got to pay it.
Depends who you look at. On the left, Leon Cameron says it is, and on the right, Chris Scott says, come on. I think it was a mark. Mate, very nice work by you today, but because it's a split round, we decided to go a little bit differently, and we've got hard questions for each other. So you've got your hard ones, I've got my hard ones.
Will you start?
I'll start. Will Bomber Thompson, Damo, be at Essendon Footy Club next year in any capacity?
No. I'll just go back to you guys.
Don't be scared to add something.
These are short, hard questions, guys.
So he's not going to be there?
He's not going to be there, nor will James Hird. Will Cameron Ling be in a full-time coaching role next season?
Yes. No, I'll give you a bit more. He's given up on his media career, so he's going to be a coach next year, no question about that.
He's given up on his media career?
Well, I don't answer any questions. In 2015, will St Kilda win more games than it's for this year?
Yeah, it will. It'll win 5. It'll be 1 more than it's currently got to this stage of the season.
Don't be scared to flush these out if this segment's going to work.
They'll win 1 more. They'll win 5 matches. You ask me a question, I'll give you an answer. Grade the standard, Gaz, of the umpiring this year.
I give it a 5, and the one that they haven't got their head around is the holding the ball prior opportunity. It continues to dog the game, and it was there for all to see again on the weekend.
I think you're being a bit kind on that 5.
All right, will you grade the MRP's performance, the match review panel?
I'll give it 0.75 out of 10. It's just confused us.
0.75?
It's not even 1. It's confused us yet again. I'll go back to Nate Fyfe when I was happy to back what they did on that.
Let it go. They made one mistake.
I was happy to back what they did on that, and since then it's been a confusion.
All right. We'll keep going.
Will the public... No. What 2 teams will miss the top 8?
You've got to get in earlier if you're going to do this.
What 2 teams will miss the top 8?
Collingwood and Gold Coast, for me, are going to miss the top 8.
So Adelaide gets in?
I think Adelaide might sneak in. No, that's me. Now, honestly, this will be the last time, unless you get this right. Will the public embrace this year's International Rules Series?
Yes, it will, because it's in Perth and they've got Ross Lyon involved. James Frawley-Gaz, your man. Will he beat the Demons next year?
Well, apparently not. He wants 7 years. And
apparently not, or not?
No. 7 years ain't coming from Melbourne. Damo, will Mick Malthouse be at Carlton next year?
Yeah, definitely next year. Yeah. And not without a chance for 2016 and beyond, but not yet locked in. Thursday night footy on the cards next season, up to 9 games. I'm keen on your answer here. Will the footy show be on a Wednesday night?
Will be if it's free-to-air television, I would imagine, but the following year, Damo, maybe Channel 9 will have the footy, and Thursday night footy might go to the Dots.
Really?
I don't know. How many flags will Sydney win during Buddy's tenure, given that you said he's going to blow the club up?
They're going to win 1, and it'll be this year.
What, 1 only?
Yep. He's got to get complacent again.
Get that group
the Hawks ruckman, Gaz. Hale, McAvoy, Segler.
Yep.
Which pair will be in that 22 in September?
I'm going to go with Hale and Segler. McAvoy might just miss out. Big boy might just miss out, but I could be wrong on that. Who's more likely to become a senior coach again, Voss, Worsfold or Hird?
Worsfold. The other 2 at the moment have got too many...
Where's he going to go?
I don't know who's going to go, but the question is who will become a senior coach again.
Not sure this segment will be back, to be honest.
Grade this year's fixture?
4. I just saw Simon Lethlean. I said, sort that double buy situation out. That is enough.
Okay.
And for you, is the Coleman Medal become an irrelevant and redundant award?
That's your best question so far. No, it has. It has. There's too many players not kicking big bags of goals, and it's going to be another low score. We still have it, but it's just become less relevant. Coach of the year, who was it?
Brendan Bolton.
Just take it seriously.
Undefeated. He's an undefeated coach, Damo.
Take it seriously, please.
Johnny Longmire, your man.
Fair call.
Hey, that was a great segment that you butchered. So what you need to do is have a good hard look at yourself. If I'm going to slave over new segments for this show, you embrace them.
I liked your work on the North lack of work rate.
All right, well, thanks for watching Access All Areas. We'll be back. I'm not sure Damo will be, but I'll be back next Monday after the second half of round 18 concludes. Have a good week. Goodbye.